Hi everyone, Nancy Burt-Preece here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I am casing this card from Wendy Lee, and I think it is so adorable. Basically, I'm using the Filled with Sweetness bundle, so I'm using the dies as well as the stamp set. It is such a cute bundle, and this cute little jar card is about as easy as it gets. I really, this is pretty much a case. I use different DSP, but that's about it. So it's a very fun card to make. It fits in a regular envelope. In fact, it'll give you a little extra, which is great. I'm just looking at it. You can see you'll have a little extra, but it fits in a regular envelope, which I think is important. It is so cute. You could use black. I use strawberry slush. You can put any sentiment you want on it. So let me show you how to make this. So, I used a 5.5 by 8.5. You could do a little bit less. I'm using Misty Moonlight, for my classes in the month of April. I might have Misty Moonlight or Strawberry Slush. I might have a different color base. I will have different colors that people can choose from. And you notice when you cut it out, it gives you a score line. So you just score it on that, and you can use your bone folder to make that nice and crisp. Then I cut out two, but this is beautiful because it's two cards. I also used a little bit less, 5.5 by 8.5. I think I'm more like 5.25, but whatever. And I cut this out, and I just cut it in half with my trimmer so that I could make two cards out of this. Could I use this side? Yes, if I wanted to. And I could use, this one has like a spoon. Maybe I'll do it that way. So it's a little different. That's the beauty of this. It's such an easy card, to put together. I just think it's fun. Now for this part, I would definitely use liquid glue. And Wendy recommended that too, because you have to move it around a little bit just to make sure. I mean, you might see a teeny tiny bit, but you don't want to see a lot. And I usually open the card up so I can make sure, like at the bottom, I got to pull that down a little bit. You don't want it to go you can lift it up. If you move it quickly, you can usually lift it up pretty quick and make it go a little bit farther on the bottom. No, I had to lift the whole thing up. And that might happen, and that's okay. Because it's going to be covered. It's covering up the front. I will put a little bit more glue on there. Part of it is it's hard to do it on camera. The first time I did it, it was like no problem. But of course, I was doing that off camera. That always makes a difference. So I'm going to try to line up the bottom, do a better job, along with the top. That's better. It's not perfect. And see, I'm going to still keep moving that around a little bit, over a little bit farther. Gosh, of course I tell you it's easy, and then I'm on camera and I can't get it to go quite as well as I did off camera. But you can just move it a smidge. And if there's a little bit left, I'm okay with that, especially that, because I'm going to be covering that part up. And you can go. Now, let's say you get it and you're not super happy. Here's another little trick that I do all the time. Turn it over and you're like, oh, that doesn't fit as well. As long as it looks okay on the other side, trim it off just a smidge. Okay. So now we have our inside and our outside ready to go. I just used the 2 3/4 inch circle punch and stamped thank you, which comes in this set. Once again, if you always come to one of my classes, I do have other sayings, but I liked that the inside was kind of plain. You know, it was just simple. The outside is so stinking cute. So now that I'm using the other, now if for some reason that really bugged you, you know what I would do? I'm not going to, because sometimes I do that. Well, okay, let me do it. Let me do it. Oh, look at that. It's perfect. So, you know, a lot of times we make mistakes and we think they're huge, but they're not really as huge as we think. So now I'm going to use some of the Essential by Baker's Twine Essential Packs. Say that 3 times. And I'll have different colors cut because people can choose what they want. And if you're making it at home, you can choose what you want. This is one of the hardest parts on the card besides putting the DSP on the front. I'm going to tie it in a little bit of a knot. And here's a trick I learned from Wendy Lee. This is one of those little, you're using it to do embossing, a little plier-like thing. But you can also hold this right on that knot, if I can actually get it on camera. There, I got it. So that it's going to hold it without letting it go loose. And you don't want it too tight. So when you pull it up tight, you got to be careful. You don't want it too tight. I got to pull it a little bit because that was a little bit tight. And now, and of course I have glue on my hands, so that doesn't help. Now I'm going to tie a bow. This is the hardest part of tying the bow. And I didn't get it because my hands are a mess right now. They're gluey. So if you were doing this at home or in a class, I would say go get a baby wipe or wash your hands so that you can get some of that glue off. Now I'm going to lightly let go and tighten my bow. See how easy that is? It really is easy when you do it with that. I had never thought to use that. Now, if I want my bow a little bit over, I just pull it over a little bit. And I don't want it quite that big, so I'm going to pull that down and tighten again. Bows are the hardest part. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is use my ribbon scissors to trim it. And it's sticking to my fingers because they're so gluey. Could you use a different ribbon? You could. You don't have to use the Baker's Twine. I just thought it was a nice look for, oh, it looks like it got loose on me. Well, once I put it on there, it'll be okay. So now I'm going to put some dimensionals. And another reason I'm doing this is I'm putting it right there because then it holds that ribbon down. So you don't have to worry. It's another little way to hold the ribbon down. I'll put 3, I might put 5 just to hold it on there. And I'll move that to the side. Go ahead and take those dimensional papers off. And move them to the side. Line that up to the top. Boy, I'm having trouble lining up on camera today. Well, it goes off a little bit on that side, but that's okay. Isn't that the simplest card? And the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to add adhesive. This is a die cut from Filled with Sweetness. And you've got the cutest jar card ever. So I hope you try this and have less glue on your fingers than I did. But it's a cute card. I'm going to be doing it in my April classes. And so I hope you have a great day. And this is Tuesday, And we're in the week of Easter, so I hope you have a wonderful Easter too. Have a great day.